When things start going south, difficulties arise. What's your go-to response? What's your perhaps knee-jerk reaction? You run to the refrigerator, comfort food. I've sure done that. You grab a video, watch a great series so you can, kind of turn off your brain. Done that too. A lot of that. Maybe take a walk. Sometimes, the old psychological response, fight, generally doesn't help too much, or flight. Are you open to another option when things are difficult? Well, I'm glad you're with me. I'm Brian, Faith Fit Psalms, and I'm here to offer an option, an alternative, an encouragement, something I learned along the way, and I think it'll be a great help to you if you so desire. And we're looking at the Psalms according to AI, and not to be confused with artificial intelligence, but rather the awe of God, the Creator God, who created the world with a word and still watching over it, and then his intimacy, his involvement. Sometimes I refer to this, and I have another video on my channel if you want to go check it out. Is he a lion full of power and awe? Or is he a lamb, approachable, involved? Well, you know what the answer is? He's a both and. So I'm glad you're with me. I love you deeply. And I just want to give you a couple options, or at least one major one, to choose to trust God. And he works. It works in the grace of God. And so a little bit about my background. This is something I've been doing for about 45 years. I grew up in a religious background, a religious, godly home, and I'm very grateful for that. It was not perfect because I was there, and I dumb down just about everything I take part in, but that's okay too. But one thing my upbringing did give me a great foundation was the awe of God. High ceilings and great music and the preaching of the word and just the ceremony. I looked around and I'm like, wow, this is pretty full of awe. And it actually kept me quiet in church, which was a miracle in and of itself. And uh, but as far as the intimacy, the involvement of that Creator in my life, um, I didn't get a whole lot of that. That's okay. Um, until I was in the Army, first job right out of college, and I met a fellow Army officer. Now, I was an administrative officer, a personnel administrator, and he was a finance officer, and we worked together. We were from two different parts of the post we were on, the Army post, and but we worked together on this project once a month throughout the year. And so I got to know him, and he was a warrior. He had every badge in the world on his chest. He'd been in Vietnam before he was an officer, and was a real warrior, fighter. And he had gotten injured, so he ended up in the finance corps. He had been a master paratrooper, scuba diver expert, marksman, all these things, none of which I was, but all of which I wanted to be. So I was very intrigued by this guy. We developed a relationship. And in the midst of that, I invited him for a business opportunity after work, obviously, because we were both Army officers. And he said, okay. He listened to me carefully. He said, let me check with the Lord. I said, the Lord? It was like he was going to go home and check with the Lord. I said, well, as in like the Lord? He goes, oh yeah, the man upstairs. I'm like, oh, how do you do that? Because I talked to him. So, all right, well, maybe I know a little bit about that, because I did talk to God in prayer, but most of my talking was all about me, what I needed, what I wanted. So God was like a big genie to me. I'd rub his belly and hopefully he'd do what I asked him to do. And then I negotiated with him. If you do this, I'll do that. Of course, I always got the better end of the deal. But he was talking about, so I said, so does he talk back to you? He goes, yeah, he does. I said, like you can hear him with your ear? And he goes, well, in my heart I can. Make a long story short, I was intrigued. I never met anybody like this, or never even heard that philosophy. So I said, hey, can I learn a little bit more? Do you got like a Bible study or anything? He goes, sure. I got one at my house. Long story short, I went to it, and that was it. Changed the path and the trajectory of my life, because I began to realize that this God full of awe, strong and powerful, was also approachable and intimate. He was not only a lion, but he was a lamb. And the rest is history. And so what I want to do, and what I'm dedicating the last part of my life in this channel, is to shout that to you. My wife says, don't shout too much because you'll turn people off. But I said, honey, I'm excited about this. It changed my life and maybe can change someone else's life, especially when you're struggling. What do you do? Who do you trust? Where do you go? Has it been working? Well, I got something. Turning to God, trusting him, trusting in his awe, and then trusting in his involvement in your life. So we're going to look at some Psalms here, and I've got some other ones on my channel. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check them out. Today, we're going to be looking at Psalm 77, verses 10 through 20. But before we do it, I want to pray a prayer that's a prayer of inspiration that kind of buoys me and gives me a focus on why I'm doing this. It's from Psalm 71, verse 8. It says, "O Lord, now that I'm old and gray," so I guess I qualify, "do not abandon me. Let me proclaim your power to this new generation." So if you're a Zoomer out there, come on, listen up. "To this new generation, your mighty miracles. Let me proclaim your greatness and your mighty miracles to all who come after me." I'm 68 and a half. So if you're younger than that, then you're coming after me. "Your righteousness, O God, reaches to the highest heavens." That's high. "You have done such wonderful things. Oh Lord, who can compare with you?" I'm going to give you the answer. No one. All right. You ready? Look at Psalm 77, verse 10 through 20. We're going to look at the awe. Whoa, the awe of God. It's just spectacular. And also how involved he is. Friendship even. Approachable. A conversationalist. We can talk to him. So we start in verse 10. And verse 10 says this. I'm reading from the New Living Translation and also a little bit from the New American Standard. And it says this in the New American Standard Version, verse 10, "It is my grief that the right hand of the God Most High has changed." So this guy's in a situation, he's looking around and saying, uh-oh, has God changed? Is he not involved? Is he angry with me? Will he always be angry with me? The situation I'm in, will it ever get better? And he thought, I have a feeling I'm in trouble here because has God changed? But keep reading, verse 11. So this is his response. This is where he puts his trust. He goes, "I will recall." I'll start remembering all you have done, O Lord. Now, this is in the Old Testament. So he started remembering back to the deliverance of Israel out of Egypt, which is Exodus chapter 14. So you can always read that if you want to get a little refresher. It says, "I will recall. I'll remember what you did. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They're constantly in my thoughts. I can't stop thinking about them." You know, part of getting delivered from some of the difficulties we have in life is we got to stop thinking about them, because you get thinking and it get that downward spiral. So change your thinking. Start thinking about the awe of God, as we're going to get into. Then he says in verse 13, "O Lord, your ways are holy. Is there anyone as mighty as you?" All of a sudden, I'm lifting my eyes from myself, my own circumstances, and I'm lifting them up to the awe of God. "Is there anyone as mighty as you? You are the God of miracles. You're the God of wonders. You demonstrate your awesome power among the nations." Then he remembers this in verse 15. "You redeemed your people by your strength. The descendants of Jacob and of Joseph by your might, when the Red Sea saw you, O God." God had brought Israel out of Egypt and brought them to the Red Sea. Then the Egyptians changed their mind and said, "We want those guys back." They had Israel and Egypt for 400 years as slaves. Finally, they let him go. Now they wanted him back, and they could hear them traveling behind them. And so they looked, and the Red Sea was in front of them. They're like, oops, we in trouble. When the Red Sea saw you, O God, its waters looked and trembled. The sea quaked to the very depths. The clouds poured down their rain. The thunder rolled and crackled in the sky. Your arrows of lightning flashed out. All this to protect Israel. Your thunder roared from the whirlwind. Your lightning leaped the world. The earth trembled and shook. Wow. You start thinking about those things, you're like, wait a minute, God, that's my Father? That's my God? He cares about me? He does all these things to save Israel? Will he save me? Will he save me too? Yes, he will. Get full of the awe of God. Verse 19. Now he comes down, gets practical. He's involved in our lives. Your road led through the sea. Huh? You ever see a road through the sea? Your pathway led right through the mighty waters. A pathway no one knew was there. Well, God did. The people didn't. They were looking, saying, we're cooked. We're in trouble. When you're looking at your problems, I'm sure there's times like, that's it. I can't go on. I can't keep doing this. Maybe you're in a really difficult marriage. You're like, wow, what am I going to do? I got to get out of here. No. Trust God. Look to his greatness. Keep your eyes on him. His pathway led through the difficulties, right through the mighty waters. A pathway no one knew was there except God. But when we trust him, he reveals it. And he did this. He led his people along that road like a flock of sheep. He parted that sea. Thunder, lightning parted the sea and led them pathway new. He just parted it. And he led them through like sheep with Moses and Aaron as their shepherd. And really, when you think about it, it was the Lord God, the creator of heaven. He was the shepherd. He used Moses and Aaron in a very practical way, thank God. But it was the Lord. He treated us like a sheep. Right now, the Lord is saying, hey, come to me. There is nothing too difficult for me, says the Lord. Come on. Come to me. Choose me. Hey, we've all done the comfort food, the video series. But when it's over, I'm still where we are. So let's choose God. Let's choose trust. Let's stand in awe. Like, whoa, read those. Go back and read Exodus 14 and 13 to get the scenario of what's happening. And 14, the actual parting the Red Sea. Can he do it again? Can he make a path for you where there seems to be no path? Yes. I want to say trust me, but you don't know me well enough, but trust God. Trust God. I promise you, he'll make a way. He'll make path. He'll strengthen you. Doesn't solve all our problems, right? It doesn't. We don't get a pass from difficulties. But when difficulties come, not if, but when, we're going to remember. Remember what he did. He said, I began to recall your mighty miracles. I couldn't stop thinking about them. And all of a sudden, the scenarios changed. That's what happened to me. When I understood the greatness of God and he was involved in my life, my worries went away. Again, is my life perfect? Simple? Easy? I wish it was. But I know who to trust. And I present them to you. Trust in the living God. Go ahead and read that. Reread it. Read it again. Stand in awe. Sit in awe. I'm sitting in awe. And then say, Lord, go ahead. Can you make a path for me? Yes. I love you. I bless you. I hope you learned something from this. I got a lot more where this come from. Check out my channel. But most importantly, check on God. His door is wide open. He stands at the door and knocks, the door of your heart. Let him in. I bless you. I love you. It's a pleasure for me to be with you. Keep checking me out. I'll keep loving you. Peace.